You know, we talked about what's underneath the pyramids last week. And that debate continues to rage. But what's really maybe even a bigger story than that, archaeologically, politically, religiously, is what the CIA is apparently admitting to have found. Ladies and gentlemen, on this week's episode of Implicit Bias Radio, we are here to tell you, please don't believe us, the CIA claims to have validated the Ark of the Covenant. We're sure that it's in some big warehouse, stashed away with the wood on it, burned out in certain ways and forms, right?
I can verify that. I saw it.
I saw it too.
I saw it.
I saw it too. Did
saw
you see
them
that one, Grant? Where they wheeled it off and
They were wheeling it
yeah.
down this massive warehouse.
So I've got questions. Number one. They allegedly found it because they used a remote viewer to find it.
Well, they didn't find it.
Well, correct. They located it.
They described where it was, but they're not sure exactly where that is.
But we're gonna talk about that because there's actual religious precedent for it being exactly where they said it was.
Yeah, they saw the same 60 Minutes episode I saw where it's in Ethiopia.
Renee knows. Look, the Ethiopian Orthodox Church has claimed to have the Ark of the Covenant.
And nobody's allowed to see it.
There's only one person who was allowed to guard it, who was allowed inside. They almost always die early of what appears to be radiation poisoning. I mean, there's all kinds of crazy things around this, right? But the CIA, here's where I start. So first of all, if you think, oh, the CIA remote viewing, that's a load of garbage. I'm going to reference you to the potentially second worst president we've ever had, which is Jimmy Carter. Because Jimmy Carter admitted publicly that the U.S. government used remote viewers to find a crashed airplane. They gave him the description of the plane, where it was headed, all this stuff. The remote viewer gave him the coordinates. They put satellites over it, said, oh, we don't see it. The remote viewer said, go back, it's there. Sure enough, it was under the canopy. The satellites couldn't see through the canopy of the jungle where they found it, and there was the plane. Jimmy Carter admits this. So we know that the U.S. government has used and been successful with remote viewing. This is a deep rabbit hole. I mean, some of the experiments that they were doing with remote viewers where they would put things like in a cinder block room inside of an airplane hangar.
They did a movie about that.
But my point is, I mean,
men who see goats or
yeah. But my point is, they literally would put things like a baby's crib in a cinder block room in an airplane hangar halfway across the world. They'd give people coordinates, and people were drawing what's there. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy stuff. So the remote viewing is one thing. The second part of this is, to your point, Renee, there is long historical precedent for the Ethiopian Orthodox Catholic Church saying we have the Ark of the Covenant. Yeah. And by the way, where they keep it is underground.
Right.
Because it is in a church that literally is carved down into the rock. Last part, what does this signify? And I just want gut reaction from people here in the Mr. Lester's TSPL. What does this do to religion if this is validated?
I think it validates a lot of things in the religion because supposedly the 10 Commandments are in
the
Ark. You know, and the way the article described it, it's just like what we saw in Indiana Jones. So it's real.
Well, hold on. Hold on. I mean, the Ark of the Covenant.
And Indiana Jones came out before this report did. So who did what?
The Bible did it.
Yeah.
Because if you read the Bible,
it describes the
exact measurements, the exact description, the exact materials used are all outlined. Even down to if you are to handle it, you must wear
Yeah.
These types of materials you must, and it's basically all grounding materials. I mean, it's all really interesting stuff that you go, is this thing an engineering marvel that maybe we don't understand and didn't understand then? Grant, you're looking at me like Kavan, you're nuts. And that's fine. You're not the first person.
No, exactly the opposite, because you and I love this lore. You and I have watched more episodes of Oak Island than we care to imagine.
The curse of we ain't found.
Right, yeah. But that's earthbound treasures. This is something that I'm surprised the Ethiopian location was revealed or somebody let it leak or however it got out there, because this is one of those things. If they've done this good of a job at keeping it concealed and keeping something this sacred, this misunderstood, this stuff that we have. One of the letters that was attached to that attachment said it's guarded by entities that are not known to us.
We don't understand who and what
we
it
don't
is,
understand
correct.
what's guarding this. We don't understand. Look, leave it where it is. That they've done a good job to concealing it at this point. It's one of those mysteries. Unlike, I want to know so bad what happened on Oak Island. But as far as this goes, like Renee said, the 10 Commandments are within that box. Leave it where it is.
Ring the bell.
I don't
I'm gonna tell you
I don't
why.
want somebody to capitalize on it. I don't want somebody to. There's a lot of things about it that I want to remain a mystery, much like our faith.
I'm going to tell you why I just asked you to ring the bell. Leave it there. And here's why. Because this is the angle that probably no one is even touched on yet. And I might get in trouble for it. Who knows?
Go for it.
So what we know from the JFK files is that the Mossad, the Israeli government, was heavily involved in really nefarious stuff. Stuff that the 10 Commandments say you should not do. Right, Renee?
Right.
If they find this, and this ark is as powerful as we believe it is,
Oh, wow. I see where you're going.
you got 2.5 seconds before the Israeli government produces a Torah and a Bible and says, see, God said this was ours. It's ours. We want it back. And now you've put that in the hands of a government that maybe might not be overly friendly.
Well,
I mean they've got written proof that's 2,000 or years older or older than that says it's theirs.
yeah. Well, I mean, if you read the stories about the power that goes with possession of that, do you want that to fall in the wrong hands? I mean, where it's been for the last, I don't know how long it's been in Ethiopia, but as long as it's been
If it's there.
it's, it's okay. It's safe.
Yeah, but
It's
the power
nobody-
the power within is definitely a lot more. It supersedes what any human wants to do with it.
Here's what I know. There's so much power there, but there's not as much power as your implicit bias. We got to wrap up this week's show because Walker's giving me the 1-minute finger. We hope that we don't see the Ark of the Covenant. We hope that it's real, but we hope that we don't see it. We hope that you have faith that we will be back in 7 days with another episode. You'll have some weekly whiskey with us. We'll break out some more bottles from our weekly whiskey partners. We will share with you our implicit bias. You share yours with us through our social media, whether it's YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, or X. And we look forward to giving away a bottle from Mr. Lester's Steakhouse when we see you in 7 on Implicit Bias Radio.